Hello, everyone. Welcome to Long for Truth. My name is Daniel Long. Thank you for joining me. Well, folks, it looks like Daystar Television Network is starting to crumble. They are scrambling over at Daystar to try to keep the money rug from being pulled out from under them. And they've not only been abusing former employees of the organization, but now they're trying at least to bully people outside of the organization. People who are making YouTube videos about them are now receiving letters from Daystar lawyers to stop exposing them. Now, there's been several. Some of them I know and some of them I don't. I know Sean Christie. Sean Christie has received a letter, and I know John Elving. He also has received a letter. I have not received anything yet. And as far as I know, others that I do videos with, Steve Kozar, who's covered this, I should say, has not received any letter as far as I know. I talked to him yesterday. At least as of yesterday, he hasn't. And so, but if I do receive a letter, I will certainly let you know. And my response will be the same as John Elving's response. I'll play that for you in just a moment. But another thing has happened, and this is another reason they're scrambling.
Well, this is going to be a different kind of broadcast, and I've actually written out most of my statements so that I say it as succinctly as possible. I'm going to be talking to you about what's been going on with Daystar Television and its effect on the Christian community of the planet, including North America, Canada, and us, broadcasters on their channel. It is with great sadness and personal angst that we are going to give notice to Daystar Canada that we will be removing our show from their network as per our contract. With grave fear of the Lord and due to what we perceive to be numerous ethical deficits and, most importantly, the failure of senior executives, and in this case, parents, to properly align with their son and daughter-in-law who had sincere, rational, and earnest concerns that their child had been molested by a family member. We have watched all the videos, read every statement, and every article written. I have personally consulted with my board and those whose discernment I deeply trust. We are in unanimous agreement that there is a deep crack in the foundation of Daystar, and we are unable to build on it.
So that was Laura Lynn Thompson. Laura Lynn Thompson is a Canadian author, speaker, and former co-host of the 700 Club Canada. She authored the book Relentless Redemption and has been a keynote speaker at events with over 10,000 attendees. She currently hosts Laura Lynn Live at the Eagle's Nest, a daily online broadcasting focusing on current events, a daily online broadcast focusing on current events and politics. The program broadcasts live on Daystar Canada Monday through Friday. So, they have decided to pull out. She said the foundation is cracked, and they're leaving. Daystar's crumbling, folks, and they are doing whatever they can, including, as I said, sending letters to YouTubers. And here is one of those YouTubers who received a letter. Here is his response. This is John Elving. Watch.
I'm the most amateur YouTuber. So, these are the papers that they signed. They sent me. Let me show you. I'll put it on the screen. And I have I have the audio, the full audio. It's like 9 minutes long. We'll look at it. We'll look at the New York. This is the New York Post. But before we get to anything, Daystar is watching my videos. They sent me a letter. This is the letter. We're going to look at it. We're going to break it down. And this is my official response to Daystar. This is my official response to Daystar. All right.
Love it. Absolutely love it. And if I get a letter from Daystar, I will do the same exact thing, except I am not going to ruin my coffee with it. That's the only thing. My coffee will be absolutely contaminated if I dip that letter into my coffee, and it's not going to happen. I value my coffee too much. Coffee is holy in this house, and I value it way too much. So that's just not going to happen. But I will let you know if I receive a letter, and I think that should be the response of every single YouTuber that gets a letter from Daystar's lawyers trying to bully us to stop covering this scandal. Another thing that happened was that the Roys Report dropped the entire audio of the conversation between Susie and Jonathan Lamb and Jimmy Evans and Joni Lamb. And previously, it had only been there had only been a 1-minute clip dropped by the Roys Report where Jimmy Evans was telling Jonathan Lamb that Joni Lamb was the voice of God at Daystar. And I played that clip for you. Also, Julie Royce put part of the transcript from that audio in her blog article or her website article, and I read that for you, or read a bunch of that for you. So we're not going to hash through the entire the entire stuff that I read from that article, but there are some things that you need to hear. So let's take a look at the first soundbite, shall we?
I didn't know Doug well when this all started. I mean, I've been around Doug, but I just didn't know him. I've been totally impressed with Doug since the very beginning. And with his character, with his spirit, I've pressed him hard in private conversations. Every time I've pressed him, he's responded graciously and honestly and humbly. And so in everything, and I told you guys I had that final conversation with the Lord about Doug and Joni, and just said, I'm going to do a wedding unless you tell me otherwise, and the Lord confirmed it. So on every level, I have, with my experience of 41 years, I have done everything I can do to know. And I told her in the first conversation I had with her, if God won't bless it, I don't want to have any part of it. I don't want to do anything to get you to be a part of a relationship God won't bless.
So there you go. Once again, an appeal to the voice of God and to God's direct revelation. Jimmy Evans says, I told God, I had a conversation. I told you about the conversation I had with the Lord. I told God, I'm going to go ahead and marry them unless you say otherwise. And God confirmed it. And so now, so he marries them. So it's this direct revelation from God, that becomes the appeal rather than Scripture. And I guarantee you this, even if someone were to, or let's just say Jonathan, if he was allowed to open up the Bible, which he wouldn't have been, because that Jimmy and Joni controlled the entire conversation. But if Jonathan would have been able to say, well, let me just show you from Scripture why I think this is an unbiblical situation, even if he were to show that and prove that from Scripture, then I can guarantee you Jimmy Evans would have said something like, well, you're reading it wrong. I've been doing this 41 years, and I know I heard the voice of God. Do you know? Have you been hearing God as long as I have? Yeah, this is the kind of stuff these people say. And it's all, there's no way to test them. There's no way to tell them that, hey, maybe it's not God, because they won't believe it. They wouldn't listen to it in the first place. Anyway, so that's the first sound clip. Let's get to the next one.
I'm submitted to you in every aspect. The only aspect where there is some consternation in my spirit is having to read something that praises your marriage in front of our live worldwide studio audience. That's the only thing. There's been nothing else that I've been difficult about. I've submitted you. I've been an incredible son. I've been an incredible employee. I haven't had any problems with you or leadership. It's just with this error, this marriage, there's just been
First off, this is a viewer comment. So the fact that you're using that as the catalyst as to why you can't, do that really speaks to a much deeper issue in your heart. That's just an excuse, right?
That's right.
Well, the deeper issue is just feeling unwell in my spirit about the marriage. That's all it is.
Well,
it's,
then
it's
again,
nothing
you
against.
have made
It's nothing
your,
against
you. have
you.
made your opinion an idol because everyone
right.
else disagrees with
That's
you.
right.
Who's everyone else?
Everyone else just
Oh, you too, of course. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of others.
there's a
But
lot
Jonathan,
of others, a lot of
you
others.
continue to disrespect me in the sense that I've been doing this since before you were born. I have dozens and dozens of Doug stories that I could tell you, horrible situations that I've seen people come out of. And I'm saying, I know abuse when I see it. I know a situation like that. I am a marriage guy. I've given my entire life, adult life, to helping marriages. I'm not a divorce guy. I'm a marriage guy. I help people get married and stay married. The only time that I can shift over is when I know there's something that's damaging a person. So in my expertise, I talked to Doug a number of times. I talked to her and I told her, I'm not for Doug, I'm not against Doug. I just don't want you getting in any situation that God will bless. And so I started having conversations with Doug. Doug never badmouthed his wife to me. He never said anything bad about her. I talked to him about him. And he started telling me when he was saying things, it was consistent with 41 years of experience of people that I've talked to exactly in his situation. And I respected the fact that he never tried to trash Lisa to me. I talked to him about signing a prenup. Absolutely. I've got my own money. I don't need Joni's money. I talked to him about not being in leadership at Daystar. He said, listen, I'm about to retire. I don't want another job. I don't need that, blah, blah, blah. Every time I pushed a button, okay, and I pushed a lot of them, gracious, godly, righteous, prayed about it. The Lord spoke to me, talked to Joni, went through the whole process. That doesn't mean anything to you guys. You treat me like I'm just like you.
Do you remember when Doug Weiss said this? Take a listen.
All the same
Medications
symptoms. Yes.
affect people too, don't
So,
they?
and there are medical issues as well. But these are some of the top reasons why people will be sexless and married. And some of them are very fixable very quickly. Some of them take more work. Some of them take more honesty. But we can all have a great sex life. Christ died so we could have great sex and
Yeah.
have a great life. You know, so we don't need to like muddle around.
Yeah, okay. So if you had never heard that, you should be shocked because that is not why Christ died. I promise you that is not why Christ died. These people have no business being in ministry whatsoever. And that's because this isn't a ministry. This is a business for them. It's a way for them to make money. Now, whether or not they're sincere in what they're doing, that's not the issue. The overall point is that this is not about ministry primarily. It's about a way to live in the lap of luxury off of the donations of their viewers. I want to take you over to an article now from the Trinity Foundation and my friend Barry Bowen, who wrote this article. So here we go. All right, this is the Trinity Foundation website. I'll put a link to this article down in the YouTube description. I've actually had Barry Bowen on the show and before, and he's talked about we talked about the planes and the private jets that these prosperity pastors use. But look at this title: Using Ministry Jet for Romance. Daystar's Joni Lamb visited fiance, now husband, and new condo on ministry jet. So let's just take a look at how these people operate. This is how these people work. All right, this is what they do. Since October 2022, Daystar Television Network's ministry. Here we are, right here. Daystar Television Network's ministry jet has made 24 round-trip flights from Fort Worth, Colorado Springs, and 13 round-trip flights from Fort Worth, Destin, Florida, at an estimated cost of $769,220. The purpose of the Colorado Springs flight were a mystery until Daystar president Joni Lamb announced her engagement to Colorado Springs psychologist and author Doug Weiss in March 2023. And then he gives a graph here showing the flight patterns and all that. Now look at this. If the couple used a commercial aircraft rather than the ministry jet for personal flights, they could have saved more than $700,000 on travel expenses. Now, I wanted you to look at the relationship timeline here. Joni and her late husband, Marcus Lamb, co-founded Daystar, which has grown into America's second largest religious TV network by broadcasting the prosperity gospel. Marcus died on November 30th, 2021. Joni described Marcus' death in her new book, Through the Storm. The news shot out to the world that Marcus died from COVID. He did not. He was hospitalized for COVID for COVID, was recovering, and died of heart failure. 2 months later, Doug filed for divorce from his wife, Lisa Weiss. The divorce was granted in May 2022. Joni and Doug began dating in August 2022. That's when the opportunity came up for us to go to New York City, chaperoned, of course, reports Joni in her book. Now, I want to show you something here. We're going to come right back to this. All right, so check this out. And we'll get back to the Trinity article. But look at this. Barry mentioned the chaperoning there. This is what it says here. Look at this. Next came this comes from an article, by the way, called Breaking the Silence of the Lambs. I'll put a link to all of these articles down in the YouTube description. Next came the chaperone trip to the Big Apple in August 22. Missing from the current account is that the chaperones were Johnny's son, Jonathan, and his wife, Susie. It was there that Doug claims that God told him to buy Joni a heart necklace at Tiffany's and kiss her in front of the Empire State Building. So God told Doug to do that. You see, everything is coming directly from God himself. And why not? God tells, so really, think about that. God tells Doug, buy Joni a necklace from Tiffany's, and then I want you to kiss her in front of the Empire State Building. Come on. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, back to the other article. All right, the couple married 10 months later. In September 2023, Joni and Doug purchased a beach condo near Destin for $2.9 million, which explains why the couple began flying to the Florida Panhandle. Let's go down here. Dates of flights to Colorado Springs: 2022, October 28th and December 29th, 2023. January 2nd, February 3rd, March 4th. I'm right here in this area. March 4th from West Chicago. March 10th, March 12th, March 24th, March 26th, March 31st, 31st, and on it goes. Joni, Lamb, and, well, even Marcus. I mean, if you remember the news report of them taking, several $million, I think it was like $3 million of PPP money and spending it, or the allegations were anyway, that they spent it on a private jet. Well, they're using their private jets for their vacations and all that stuff. This is what the donors are giving to Daystar. So, folks, just a quick update of what's going on. All of the links will be in the description. And yeah, this is what Daystar is doing with their donors' money. They're living in the lap of luxury, and they're calling it ministry. So, that's what's going on. And Daystar, again, they are doing whatever they can to keep from the organization from crumbling. It's not a ministry, folks. It is an evil organization that promotes false teachers and false teaching. And the Joni Lamb and her husband are living in the lap of luxury off of the donations of their followers. So I'll keep you posted if any other developments take place. And I'll also let you know if I receive a letter from a lawyer from Daystar as well. Don't think I will, but if I do, I'll let you know. Thanks for watching.